Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, July 10th. In our devotion for today, I want to continue with our series of worshiping God with our whole life. Over the past several sessions, we've been looking at this concept of waiting upon God and how it, in and of itself, is a form of worship. It's a form of worship because when we wait upon God, we are actually waiting with God. Now, I know waiting can be hard. Waiting is frustrating because our society has taught us to expect things and answers and to get what we want as quickly as we can. And waiting with God is actually a process. It's a process of worship, but it can take time. It takes investment. It's not something that always provides the immediate return that we're taught to want and desire and crave. Our psalm for today is Psalm 5. And in Psalm 5, verse 3, it says, I wait expectantly. Now, Psalm 5 is a lament. So something is going wrong, and the writer of the psalm is expressing those emotions, those frustrations, those hurts, those pains to God. But in the midst of that lament, the psalmist actually says, and I wait a response from God expectantly. And that's what I want to look at today about waiting with God. When we wait with God, it's okay to wait expectantly. It's okay to wait with expectation that God is going to answer. God might not answer on my timetable, but it's okay to have that desire and to express that desire and to shape your life and wait expectantly for a response from God. The key thing here is that as we are waiting with God and waiting expectantly, we are preparing for unexpected answers. You see, often God responds to us or God answers us in unexpected ways. God does indeed answer, but it's not always the answer that we're looking for. Sometimes those answers are unexpected because, well, it's the old verbiage between God knows what we need and doesn't necessarily give us what we want. It's also because God has a greater perspective on life. But it's also because God has a different agenda. God is interested in saving people foremost, not necessarily making our lives comfortable. So it's okay to wait expectantly, to wait and shape your life around waiting for an answer that God's going to give. But we need to prepare for unexpected answers, answers that we weren't anticipating and we didn't think that God was going to give us. And as we wait and prepare for unexpected answers, it's good to look for those answers. We might not know how they're going to come. We might not know what those answers are, but it's okay to, as we wait with God and as we worship God, as we wait with God, to look for the answers. And as we look for those answers, what we're looking for is God's movement in our lives. And as we see God moving, that's where we're going to find those unexpected answers to the things that we've requested, the longings, the things that we have desired from God. Those seeing God's movement in our life helps clue us in as to what God might be saying to us. And we can see God's movement as we look for miracles to happen, things that can never have happened on their own. As we look for people experiencing God's love in profound ways, that's how we see God's movement in our lives. As we look for opportunities to demonstrate grace, that's how we're looking for God's movement in our life. And as we see wrongs that need to be made right, that's another way that we see God's movement in our life, because if we respond to wrongs that need to be made right, we know that's where God's heart is. And we know that that's God's movement, always constantly wanting to make wrongs made right. All of those ways are ways that we can look to and see God's movement in our lives. And that's how we wait with God. We wait with God expectedly because we're expecting an answers. We prepare for unexpected answers, ones that we never saw coming. And as we wait and worship God, we are looking for God's movement, because as we see God moving and acting in our lives, most often that's how we uncover these unexpected answers. Waiting with God, it's part of worshiping God as we wait with God. It's part of seeking God and experiencing God. And as we wait with God and as we worship God, our lives are indeed changed. Amen. Amen. It is Friday. This Sunday, we are returning to in person worship. That means we have two worship services this Sunday at 8 a.m. and at 10 a.m. 8 a.m. is going to be our traditional liturgical service, and 10 a.m. is going to be our online worship service. You are welcome to come for the filming of that and to sit in the sanctuary with us as we worship God together. You can come to either of those services. Just be expected that it'll feel different when you return to worship this Sunday. Masks are required. We're going to be taking temperatures and asking you to sanitize your hands as you enter the sanctuary. You're going to have to seated. The seats are checkered and off throughout the sanctuary, so you're going to have to sit as a family, separated from other people. We won't have fellowship or coffee hour. And there's more changes that you'll encounter. Just as you come back, we're going to rejoice together. We're grateful for this opportunity for in-person worship, but just be expected that things are going to look and feel different. We also want to honor those people who cannot come back to us for health reasons. If you are someone who has a health system that could be compromised, if you don't feel that it's safe for you to gather together in an enclosed space with other people like this, we want to honor that and respect that. That is good and okay for you to stay home. We are committed to our online worship experience. We're just changing the time from 9 to 10 p.m. 9 to 10 a.m. each and every Sunday. So please join us this Sunday, either in person or online, as we worship God together. In the meantime, take care of each other and look in on those who are most vulnerable. Amen.